I've been dating my boyfriend, Matt, for nearly 3 years. We've had our ups and downs, but it always felt like we were a team. I'd never thought twice about trusting him, even when he started mentioning this new friend from work, Lila. She was his work wife, and he'd talk about her like she was this goofy, funny little character in his day-to-day office drama. At first, I found it endearing. I mean, who wouldn't want their partner to have a friend they could laugh with during long work days? I figured it was nice that he had someone who got him in ways that maybe I couldn't when it came to work stress. But over time, things started to change. Matt would bring her up at dinner, and even while we watched movies. He'd laugh at random moments, then share some inside jokes she'd told him, something I couldn't relate to. I'd smile and laugh with him, but this gnawing feeling was in my chest. I shrugged it off, thinking maybe I was just feeling insecure or paranoid. Then he started coming home late. The excuses piled up: wrapping up a project, last-minute meeting after work, drinks with the team. There were more and more nights where I'd sit on the couch, waiting for his text that he was finally heading home. One evening, after another late night, he came home and went on and on about how Lila had the perfect way of helping him de-stress. She just got him, he said, without the complications of a relationship. That comment lingered with me, like he had meant more than what he'd actually said. I told him I wasn't comfortable with him spending so much time with her, but he brushed it off, saying I was making something out of nothing. Days turned into weeks, and this nagging feeling became overwhelming. I was losing sleep, replaying moments and conversations in my mind. It felt like Matt was slipping away, and I didn't know if it was just me imagining things. So, in a moment of desperation, I hired a private investigator. I hated myself for doing it. I felt like I was betraying the very foundation of our relationship, but I just needed to know. The investigator's report came back, and there it was: pictures of Matt and Lila at a fancy restaurant, the kind we'd only go to for special occasions. He had told me he was working late that night, tying up loose ends on a big project. But there he was, laughing, leaning close to her across a table covered in wine glasses and half-eaten plates. When he got home that night, I confronted him with the evidence. I was shaking, somewhere between rage and heartbreak. He didn't try to deny it. He looked at the photos, his face going pale, and then he got furious. "Are you serious? You spied on me," he yelled. "How could you invade my privacy like that?" I tried to explain that I hadn't intended to catch him in a lie, I just wanted to ease my own mind. But he cut me off, saying that I'd crossed a line, and that he never told me about dinner because he knew how I'd react. He insisted it was just an innocent dinner, that he needed someone to talk to about work, and that it was nothing more. For the next few days, Matt barely spoke to me. He'd leave early for work and come home late, his phone always turned down when he put it on the table. One night, I woke up at 3 a.m. to find him gone from the bed. I crept down the hall and saw him sitting on the couch, staring at his phone, texting someone with a faint smile. The light from the screen reflected off his face, and in that moment, I felt like I was watching a stranger. Finally, I couldn't take it anymore. I broke down and asked him, "Do you even want to be with me anymore?" He didn't answer right away. He looked at me, then down at his hands and sighed. "I don't know," he said softly. "I didn't mean for any of this to happen, but with Lila, I feel like I can breathe. Like I don't have to be anyone but myself." It was like he'd just dropped a bomb in the middle of our life together. The reality hit me: he'd found something with her that I couldn't give him, something I didn't even know he needed. A week later, Matt moved out. He said he needed space to think, but we both knew the truth. Our relationship had become a ghost of what it once was, and Lila had become a real person between us, someone who, without ever trying, had changed everything. My friends told me to forget him, that I was better off. But every night I still lay in bed, wondering if there was something I could have done differently, if he'd ever felt as strongly about me as he did about her. And the saddest part? Sometimes I wish I'd never hired that investigator. Maybe if I hadn't known, I could have kept pretending, kept believing that he was still mine.